What is up, guys? Good to see you all. This is Gabe here. We got AJ Bodick in with us here. I don't see your camera there, AJ. I think you might need to see if you turn it on or see if you can connect it somehow. But thank you guys so much. There you are. We got you. How you doing, man? Awesome. Well, good. Well, good to have you. Hey, I hope that we're coming in okay. So I am in a hotel room right now, and I'm using hotel internet. So I hope that doesn't mess this up too much. You guys can let me know how it's going in the comments. Hopefully you can understand us okay. But hey, I'm so glad to be back. With all the stuff happening with the convention and all the work we did last week. It's good to have just kind of a regular podcast now where we can just talk and chat and catch up on everything that's going on with Squeegee U. But first of all, how are you doing, AJ? How are you recovering from the convention? I can't hear you, AJ. Let me see here. Okay, so you can hear me, Chris. Can you hear AJ? Okay, so we can't hear you, AJ. So there might be some connection issue there. But
how about now?
There we go. We got you now.
Awesome. Yes. Technical difficulties, but the IWCA week was absolutely incredible. The dinners that we got to be a part of, the food, obviously incredible, but the people, the influence that these people have on the industry is incredible. And obviously the events. And obviously my favorite person that got to talk to was the window cleaner of the year. Sorry, Gabe, you were not on that. You were probably number 2.
I get it. Yeah, no, it was really nice to talk with Jason and congratulate him. Also, Corey, and we mentioned it last week, but Corey gave a wonderful speech to present him with the award, so that was really cool. So let's talk a little bit about the dinners, though, because that was kind of cool. Just by virtue of my knowing, well, we had the board meeting, right? So I'm on the board of the IWCA, so we always have a board meeting there. And some people get invited in on that, and so it was really neat to be able to talk with people. AJ got to meet the incoming president, Scott Aaronkrantz. He got to spend a lot of time talking with our just recently past president, Joe Rushlow. So what was that like, being able to talk to some of the people there that are heading the IWCA?
So I didn't fully hear your question, but yes, talking with Joe, the now previous IWCA president. So the cool thing is Joe and I worked in the same city for the last 10 plus years. Nice. But I never really got to talk to him because I considered him a competitor. So being able to flip the switch and actually get to hear his heart and the reason why he joined the board and the impact that he wanted to make in the community, honestly, I respect him so much for what he has done and what the legacy that he's going to leave. And it's really going straight into the new president. And I cannot wait to see what he's going to do. But talking with Joe and hearing his heart and how much he's going to miss the board meetings, which is about 70% of I'm really going to miss all of this. But yes, it was really awesome, as well as the rest of the board that was there. Only got to talk to half of them at the dinner because we got split up, right. But it was still great.
Big. Yeah, for sure. Just to talk a little bit about Joe, we mentioned this last week, but I don't know if we really hit it hard enough. Joe, he served 2 years in a row because normally a president only serves 1 year and then they go into the past president position. And so that's kind of the rotating leadership. You've got incoming president, you've got current president, and then you've got outgoing president. And those three kind of are like the executive committee, you could say. They head up a lot of the stuff that happens with the IWCA. But because there was some upheaval during his time, he ended up staying on an extra year to prevent a vacancy or prevent someone being voted in last minute without really any type of vetting or any type of voting on it. So he just stayed on, and I just think it was a real. I personally, I think I would love to have our president stay on for 2 years if they're available to do that. It just seemed like we were able to have kind of the same mind about certain things for an extended period of time, because that happens. I mean, if you have a president once a year, they each have different objectives. They have different goals for the organization, and someone you could work hard all year for something to happen, and if you don't complete it, it may not get done because the next president may not have that same type of priority. You hope that with the three kind of moving in sync there, that you get it done. But it doesn't always happen. But with Joe being in there 2 years in a row, that was really cool. I personally feel like we should adopt that, but obviously that's a big thing that involves a lot of votings, and we have to change the bylaws of the organization. So it's not an easy thing just to do, just because I think it's a good idea. But it's something I think we should at least revisit for sure. But yeah, Joe, during the banquet, shaved his head. He had his head. Everyone who donated money, you donate money towards the IWCLF, which is the charity wing of the IWCA. And he said, I will let you, if you donate money, I will let you take a clipper and just shave off part of his head. And so he was up on stage, and people just lined up, and it took a turn just doing, they gave him a reverse mohawk right in the middle of it to start. And it was just a lot of fun. But he ended up in all raising $5,000 for the IWCLF.
So that's incredible.
Isn't that awesome? Isn't that awesome? Yeah. So he was willing to put up with some embarrassment if it meant helping some window cleaners in need. So that was really cool.
Well, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. I mean, I already have done it. So
you might not have raised as much money as him, AJ.
Yeah, this was actually paid for by stress and having 3 children. So I have also blamed my 7-year-old. Now understands that I can blame him for my baldness, and it's great.
Hey, I just want to say hi to some people who are checking in. I apologize for moving it to later. I know I try to keep it at 4 o'clock as much as possible, because I know this is a little late for our viewers from across the pond in Britain. But we got to say hi to Jake Van Orden. He's another one of Squeegee Consultants, and also the owner of Window Cleaning Nation. So thank you so much for always letting us have it here, Jake. We appreciate you so much. Corey Klimas, we're just talking about him. He's checked in. Squeegee Tom, he's back home finally. Poor guy, man. He had a rough going. He on his way back from the IWCA convention, or the Elevate convention. His little travel camper thing that he had broke down on him. And he had to have his son drive 13 miles to come get him. And so he just, of course, thankfully he had a camper, right? So he's not like sleeping on the bed of his truck or something. But he had some protection from the elements, but he ended up having to scrap it. So poor guy. But to his credit, man, he made the most of his time at the convention. He made some awesome connections, and we've been chatting and talking, and he's just been sharing about how he's really found a community now with window cleaners and from the Elevate convention. So we are happy to have you aboard, Tom. We're glad that you're home safe, most importantly, but we're glad for you making the trip, first of all, and then just enduring everything you did. So thank you so much for always being positive, even though you're going through some tough times there.
Yeah, and to be honest, I also, there were 2 people with campers at the IWCA. It was him and me. And so I also stayed in a camper at the IWCA. So when I'm done with why I need this, I will, if you still need something, I will drive this thing up to you if you need it. So
very good. All right, so we got Jessica Babylin, Chris Eckstein in. Hey, Christopher James, my man, he's in here. We've got, let's see here, Juan Carlos Alanis, he's in here. Charles Smith, always good to see you, dude. And Jason Gulick, we were just talking about you, man, about being the winner of the IWCA Window Cleaner of the Year award. And William Sharkey, hey man, how you doing? Glad you made it. Awesome. All right. Well, very cool. So, we just lost AJ. Hopefully, he'll pop in here again soon. So, just so you know, he's kind of traveling right now because he's got a consulting job with um, uh, a franchise down in Orlando. So he was actually already in Orlando when the convention was there. And so they're doing a big job tomorrow. So he's actually out and about to go close to the site where they're going to be doing doing the job. So that's why he's in his camper now. And he might not have good internet. He said he was going to try and find a good area. So hopefully he gets back in. Oh, there he is. He popped in.
Yeah. So I was not anticipating using my laptop. So because I'm on the road, which we haven't even got to why I'm on the road.
I just told him. I just turned him in.
So, I'm going to have to try and switch back to my phone. So, but I'm still here until my computer dies or until I get my. So
sounds good. Sounds good. Well, we just wanted to take some time and just fill you guys in on all the stuff that Squeegee U is doing. So huge milestone just happened. So we finished module 5 of the Squeegee U program. So just to give you a little bit of a background, so when I started Squeegee U, it really was, and I've told the story on here before, it was just an idea, a seed of an idea that was given to me at an IWCA convention. I had this idea of, making a program that we could teach people how to clean windows, just the basic fundamentals. So we're not learning anything fancy. We're not teaching people how to, do anything that is really out of the ordinary, or trying to get someone who has been cleaning windows for a couple months up to, the speed of a 10-year vet in like just a program. We're not doing any of that. But what I just noticed was there was a big gap between the learning process of someone who was only learning through YouTube or only learning through, seeing other people do cleaning, because they're just imitating, right? At that point, they're imitating someone who is far advanced from them. And so there's a lot of steps that are involved. So with Squeegee U, I wanted to create videos that broke down those steps. So again, it's not meant to teach you it's not meant to bring you to the window cleaner you're going to be in 5 years. It's meant to give you a solid foundation that you can build on as you evolve and grow as a window cleaner. And you find your own style, you find your own method. But there was just a lot of really basic, fundamental steps that I saw people lacking when watching the video. So that's why I started it. So the foundation part of our growth is those videos, and I've been working on those for over 2 years. We finally have them complete. We have them on a platform, and they're going to be connected to our website really soon. But I'm really excited to be able to see the fruit, the results of all the hard work that we put together to do that. I want to thank Michael Draper, Expert Safety Services, and his assistant Raphael Hamlin. Raphael was the videographer for it, and he has just got patience. He got so much patience for everything that we've gone through with these videos. But they're finally live, and so I'm really excited about that, because what that means is now I don't have to put so much energy towards the videos anymore. I can now direct energy towards other things that Squeegee U is doing. So one of those things, and why I especially wanted to have AJ on, is our consultant program. And so the consultant program is meant to bridge the gap between someone who doesn't have any advice, or maybe is just getting advice scattered from social media, to someone who doesn't want to sign up to a coaching, right? Who doesn't want to sign up for like a year, what's the word? Obligation towards a coaching program. Maybe they just want to have some help for a month or two. Maybe they just want to work through a specific period in their business growth, and they want to have someone that they can bounce off. That's what the consultant program is designed to do. So could you fill everybody in on how we did with regards to that, or actually how you've been doing, AJ? Because I mean, you've been killing it. You've really kind of taken the program and just run with it, and just kind of give them an update on things that you're doing right now.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes. You sound great now. Yeah.
Love it. So yes. So coming out of the convention, I think I got contact information for about 24 people. And tried to do a quick vetting on the spot of all right, tell me a little bit about your business, and see how we can, at Squeegee, you can support. And so from that, we were able to go ahead and book one consultation, or one actual confirmed appointment, and then several consultations. So we don't want you to feel that you're locked in by like saying yes to this program right away. We want to hear about your business, because we actually may not be the right fit for you, and we want to direct you to the right people. And if we are the right fit, then let's come up with a game plan. And so it's a free consultation that we can kind of understand your business. And so from my first one, I was able to understand that he wants to go from 2 vehicles with a couple of guys and wants to double his team in 12 months. So it's like, okay, cool. That's a great idea. But what infrastructure do you have? Do you have the right pay structure? Do you have the right equipment? Do you have the right systems in place to support that? So for me, I always just at the convention, I was asking the question, are you enlarging your tent before you strengthen your stakes? So you got to have the right stakes that hold your foundation together before you can enlarge your tent, which means you can't grow too fast. And that's why people are scared. Is a lot of people were scared at the convention of, I want to grow, but I don't know how, and I just don't even know what steps to take, and so I don't even want to try. And I want to bridge that gap of, okay, it's okay to not know what steps to take. I'm here to help bridge that gap, to help you know what I did in the past that worked really well, and what I would recommend for you based on your specific business needs. Does that make sense?
Yep, absolutely. No, it's. I loved what you said. Are you making your tent too big before you have the stakes? Because I find that's pretty much what happens a lot. We get the grand ideas, and of course, it's presented to us in social media, right? And you get the people, oh yeah, I went from making 2,000 a month to now making 50,000 a month, and I did it this way. It's real easy. You go knock on some doors, you print out some flyers, whatever. And
Yeah.
so people already have those plans, and they're throwing money at it, assuming it's just going to all fall into place. But like exactly what you said, there's none of that infrastructure in the beginning to even facilitate that type of growth. And
Yep.
it doesn't come by accident. It does come with planning. And so someone like yourself, we also have Jamie Hallman, who is a Squeegee consultant. He's new, but he's at those steps, right? He can help someone who is going either from no employees to hiring for the first time, or going from one truck to 2 or 3 trucks, and can help with that, facilitate that type of growth the right way, so that you increase. I mean, obviously, any business, there's a risk, right? Anytime you make a decision, there's a risk it's not going to work, but you're just trying to minimize those risks as much as possible. And talking to someone who's been there is a big help from that. So, yeah,
And the
very,
cool
very.
thing that I'm working on is I'm actually living out, I'm like practicing what I'm preaching, essentially. So I recently sold my business up in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I am down in Orlando, Florida. So I have a 2-year contract with a guy that I'm consulting with, but I'm acting as his general manager, because he has an office in Daytona Beach, but an office in Orlando, and it's just too big for him to manage by himself. And he has tried to hire a general manager himself, and it just never worked. And after, like, during my basically like consultation phase, what has happened is it just didn't have any infrastructure. And so when problems arose between him and his GM, because there weren't good systems in place, it created that friction. And
Right.
so we've been able to dive deep into some of those. One of those was equipment. So because of how great the WCR sale that has been, we just bought $6,500 worth of equipment to replace stuff that's 7+ years old. He's had poles for over 7 years and are
Oh my goodness.
splintering, and like he's got his money's worth. But
Wow.
his guys have been resenting him, essentially, of like, hey man, you're cheap. And if you're cheap, then you're cheap on us too. So that, like, if
Right.
if he's not willing to invest in his equipment, then the crew doesn't feel invested in.
That's right.
And so it's that psychology that he just didn't understand by him being quote unquote cheap, but really he's being a good steward of his money. But it didn't feel like it because the guys were taking longer on job sites. They weren't making enough money per hour that he wanted them to make. And so it was just a lose-lose situation. So I was like,
Yeah.
cool, let's invest in equipment. All four of his trucks have a brand new pole. And we're trying to go after like 6-7 story buildings. So now we have the capability of doing that very easily. And so like that was the biggest thing that I've had to deal with, not like deal with, but help coach him through for the last couple of weeks. And also been trying to sell jobs with him. And so the cool thing is my first 3 days of being with him in Orlando, we had a lead that came in for a new construction project. I showed up within 2 hours of that lead coming in, and within 48 hours of that initial meeting, we won an $18,000 job.
Nice.
So and he's like, dude, how'd you do that? Because he's never been able to quick sale something like that. Obviously, every domino had to fall in place correctly, but it was because of my due diligence and knowing I was literally able to copy paste what I did at previous jobs and was able to go straight to the GC on site, say, hey, this is what we are going to do. What's your timeline? Because he said it was supposed to be in 2 weeks. And then when he called me, he said he needs to be on Monday. Can you make that happen? And I said, yes. So we've been out there the last 2 days and we were able to complete $6,000 by tomorrow. So in 3 days, we did $6,000 with just 2 guys. Like nothing crazy. It's just, we're out there grinding it too. So like I'm practicing when I'm preaching, but I'm also sweating too. So it's so cool.
Zachary Bunch says, you get that money back in tax write-offs. What's the big deal with not having good equipment? And that's a really good point. And I just think when you're an owner, especially if you've grown small, right? You've been small for a long time and now you're growing slowly. You still are kind of stuck in that small owner mentality. So you look at equipment as the expense rather than what is as an investment, right? What is this going to give my company? And so one is you've got the practical part, right? They're going to be able to do the jobs faster. The quality is going to be better because you got up to date equipment, right? Things aren't falling apart, so you're not having to put things together on the spot in the job that's slowing you down. But more than that, just kind of what you said earlier, AJ, is you're showing your employees that they're worth this equipment. And that sends a message. You know, I just had something similar, not quite exactly the same, happen this week. We had one of my guys, he says, hey, Gabe, I got a nail in the tire. Can I take it in, to go get checked? I said, yeah, of course, because he was worried about being on the clock. I said, yeah, stay on the clock. Just take it in, get the nail fixed. So they took it in. And of course, they found out that a couple of the tires were kind of worn down. And he's thinking, he's thinking on my behalf, which I really appreciate. He was just like, well, Gabe, I think if we get the tire fixed, we could probably last another 2 or 3 months on these tires, and then we'll get new tires at that point. And I'm like, dude, you're in there now. Let's just get all new tires. Just do all new tires now. Get it done. We don't have to think about it or worry about it. And he was like, oh, thank you so much. Because after we talked a little later, he was a little worried about driving on those tires. But he was thinking, well, I'm going to save them money and I'll be careful. And I'm like, dude, I'm not going to do that. You're worth way more than, the cost of tires. Your safety is more important to me than that, And
absolutely.
Opportunity in that instance to show my employee that, hey, I care about you as a person, not just as a worker, and you're worth that investment of that money in that, because I want you around for a long time. And I want you to be able to go back to your family. It's pinching pennies is not this is not the place to do that. We want to make sure that we take care of you. So but the same thing with the equipment. If you're making them work with brushes that the bristles are falling out, with the water fed, or squeegees that are just worn down and just not fun to use anymore. Put some money into it. Show your employees that they're worth the top of the line stuff, and then they'll appreciate that for sure.
Definitely. And the other thing that I was kind of working with him already this week is the gentleman that's on the job site with me is 24 years old. literally just got married, got back from his honeymoon this past weekend. So his first
Wow.
day back was a new construction job. Um, and he's been getting paid between like $130 and $150 a day, which is a little bit less than $20 an hour, depending on how many hours that he was working. So the way that we pay in this organization is a little bit more like a day rate, but they're typically on site for about 6 hours.
Mm.
And so for him, at 24 years old, newly married, I didn't know any of that when coming in, but I never met the kid until that morning. But I texted him, "Hey, by the way, we've never met. I built out a budget for this project. You're going to get paid between 200 and $250 a day, depending on how many hours that we work. Like, it really depends, because here in Orlando, he's got to drive back to Daytona. It's over an hour drive. So I was like, if you spend 7 to 8 hours on the job site, I'll pay you 200. If you want to stay until they close down the job site, I'll pay you 250. You're just going to get stuck in traffic." And he's like, dude, that's double what I'm getting paid now. And I was so like getting to understand okay, so why are you getting paid this? And what can I do to help support you as a manager now?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I just want to feel valued. He's brilliant. I mean, he's got a doctorate in uh, astro, some sort of science. He's a smart kid,
It's an
but he hasn't been
astrophysicist.
able to find a job yet in that field. And so he's very smart. He rock climbs, so he's like on ladders all the time. He'll climb whatever roof possible.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'm like, cool, let's pour into you, because I don't know if you're going to find a job in Orlando or Daytona in that field, because his wife wants to stay local. So it's like,
Yeah.
cool. I feel like I can invest in him now and build a system around him and make him feel included in a way. Like in 2 days, he's felt more included than the last few months,
Yeah.
just because of some of the systems that I was able to implement, and just making him feel that he has a voice in the company too.
Yeah.
So,
For sure. No, you have to make them feel like they're a part of the success of the company. They know when they feel they're just a cog.
mhm.
They know that they know when they feel like you can just fire them and put someone else in that place, and it's like it doesn't matter to you. When they feel like they have a role in success, and that they're valued as a person, and as an active part of that company, that's what they live for. That's what the good employees, that's what they want. And if you can give them that acknowledgement, and help put them in a place to succeed, man, you get some quality employees that way. You really do. So yeah, good points. I know one guy that I talked to from the convention. He called me. We have a free consultation, free 30-minute consultation, if you to see if you're a good candidate for the consulting program. And I told him, because he says, "Well, I have a lot to talk about." I said, "You know what? I'll give you as much time as you want," because I was driving. I was literally driving, and I was going to be on the road for a while. I had a rental, and I said, "You just talk, man. I'm not doing anything. You just talk. I'll listen to you." I had my earpiece on, and he was kind of the epitome of a lot of small business owners, in that
Mm,
he almost had like thought ADHD, right? So it's like, I don't think he was ADHD in his normal life, but with his business, he had so many worries, and he was just literally rattling them off. I'm worried about this. I'm worried about this. I'm worried I'm not taxing right. I'm worried I'm not in the right entity. I'm worried that I'm paying my guys too much, but am I paying them enough? And he was just like boom, 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 boom. And he must have listed about 20 different things that was like had been eating him alive. And I listened to him. Some things I gave some input. Some I said, well, we're gonna have to talk about that another time. But at the end of the conversation, with the thing that I was able to tell him was like, hey, you're not going through anything that other business owners aren't going through. Your experience is typical. What's holding you back is your view of kind of like, I have to make sure all of this is perfect before I can move forward. And I said,
mm,
that should happen. You're never going to have a perfect situation. What you do is you take care of the priorities, the things that absolutely have to be taken care of, like, for instance, the tax stuff, the entity stuff, making sure, because he was paying some guys at the table, he was doing this and that. And I said, that's got to stop. You got to get everything above board. You got to get everything, you need to show that income on your tax return, because otherwise you can't get loans. Because if you're not showing that income, you're just showing as you're a low profit company. So you need to make sure that's on the record. But at the end, I was just like, everything that you've gone through, I've experienced, other business owners have experienced, and when you just get the systems in place and you make the decisions you need to make, you're gonna be okay. You're gonna be able to grow, And at the end, he was just like, oh, okay, I feel so much better now. I feel so much better. And that's what we have, that opportunity, is to just talk to people and just give them a chance to vent, because they're talking to their spouse who may not have a big role in the company. They're talking to friends who may not be business owners. They may be talking to business owners who aren't window cleaners, and to be able to talk to someone who is all those things and understands exactly what they're going through. Sometimes that's just all they need to kind of get their center again and to figure out what path that they need to take. So,
that's the one thing that you never told me about when joining Squeegee U, is the therapy sessions that essentially we're doing. But like, to be honest, those are some of the most fruitful conversations, because like you said, their spouse may not fully understand. They may be withholding some information about what's going on with their spouse, because they don't want them to be worried. I know that I've done that when I was doing, like, nothing shady or anything, but it was like, it's a big risk of what I'm doing, or the steps I'm trying to take in my business. For us to be neutral and to fully understand that, Gabe, that's an amazing trait that you have, is to like, you let me vent at the IWCA, and I felt just like him. And so that was very generous and kind of you to do that. And to be honest, he probably left feeling encouraged, and you probably didn't tell him, other than what you said of, this needs to stop. Like, other than that, he probably left encouraged that he could do this. So
he did, and he said he's gonna use me as a consultant. But I felt good, because I'm getting stressed listening to him talk. I'm getting stressed to him saying all of his anxieties. Partly because I have gone through that. I think you're so right, AJ. If our wives are not involved in the business with us, we do hold back telling them certain things. Partly because it's a lot of stuff is stuff we can't control. So it's, you don't want to put that on them. But I had a conversation with my wife, probably about 3 months ago, when we, so the Gabe Spotless that's our busy season. So that was going crazy. I was working hard to get these videos filmed and done by the end of the year. And she could see it on my face, and she's like, okay, stop. You need to just tell me what's going on. I don't care. Just tell me. Even if I don't understand it, I need you to tell me. And so we did. And we had a great conversation. And I did feel better making sure she knows, because then I didn't feel like I was carrying the burden. It was all up on my shoulders, Even though some of it she couldn't do anything about, some of it she had really good ideas looking from an outsider's viewpoint of it, And I took that and listened to that and did what I could with what she offered, and other stuff we waited out, and either the problem went away or we figured out a solution, and here we still are to live another day, But having someone to talk to is important, and if you're in a situation where you're just carrying all of that, man, that can just take so much joy out of what you're doing. You may be making some really awesome strides in your business and taking some steps that just maybe the growth just is not visible yet, but the roots are going down deep, and you're ready for a growth. But you can lose all of that joy just by allowing yourself to be overwhelmed with stuff that may not be as important as you think it is, So talking with people who are gone through it really makes a big difference, for sure.
So what's on the horizon for you at Squeegee U, Gabe? Obviously you've been traveling around. You met with somebody in Orlando, now you're in Atlanta. Is that on the docket for a little while? You got something up your sleeve?
Yeah, so first of all, we made some good sales at the convention, so that we actually have some capital now that we can use. So I have a few more payments coming in, But we are going to really be pushing both the consultant program. I'm going to do advertising for the modules because I think a lot of people could use the modules, even if it's just one or two, not the full set, but just some for training or just some for themselves. The module number 4, which is the customer service and etiquette, that's the longer. I did a mini program of it at the IWCA convention, and I always get a lot of good feedback on it because it's stuff that you don't think about, but the module 4, it's a longer one, and it's really breaks down a ton of different scenarios that you run through when you're in a customer's home and what things can happen, what things you have to avoid. But that was definitely one I think of. If you have employees and you don't need to teach them how to clean windows, that's one that you can buy and just keep it there and show them once a year, and just make sure they get those reminders, because it's so easy to get too comfortable in a customer's home, and pretty soon you're acting in ways that's rude or inconsiderate, or you're acting entitled in someone's house when you're just a guest in their house. So it's just good reminders to have there.
That's
So
so
that
good.
do a lot of marketing now that we actually have some capital, and I'm really looking forward to, just from the response we got from the convention. I know that once we get the word out, we're going to have a good response. But yeah, so to this week, so tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday, I'm in Atlanta right now. I'm going to be training some crews for they're a pressure washing franchise. It's called Rolling Suds, and they do exterior cleaning as well. So they clean exterior, but usually by means of a water-fed pole. So they want to start doing interior cleanings on the buildings that they have contracts with. So I'm going to be training. I think it's 4 or 5 different franchisees, and they're each bringing 1 or 2 employees that they want to learn how to clean windows traditionally in a commercial setting. So I'm going to be doing a 2-day class out here, which I'm really excited about. That's what I want to do. I want to get kind of into these franchisees and see if I can train, teach them how to do some basic window clean, help them to get some of these commercial jobs done, and up their ticket. But also eventually I want to start having regional classes. So you're one I have in mind for doing one on the East Coast. And I want to, of course, I'm in Arizona, so I would be on the West Coast. But I want to start having where we will have an event, and hey, if you have employees that you want to come and jumpstart their learning process, we'll be here. If I can have enough employees, or enough people coming, then we can keep the cost low, other than the travel, of course, but have the cost to be in the class low. And yeah, just have those, just regionally throughout the year, where we can get people trained, if you start a business, or maybe just a refresher. Maybe you've been doing Windows, but you just don't feel like you're most efficient, or you continually have problems with quality. Just sitting through one of these basic classes might be able to identify what the issue is that you're kind of getting hung up on. And
Yeah.
so those are some long-term goals. But consulting right now is definitely what we're leaning towards, both with an individual to help them run their business, but also consulting. So like what I did in Orlando when I stayed after the convention, that was also a Rolling Suds owner, but he had picked up a big job. He had never done as big a job as this, and
Wow.
he was unsure about bidding. So I helped him through the bid. I just consulted with him through the bidding process. We kind of helped figure out and kind of guesstimate about what the per man hour was going to be needed to get that done. And then I went with them, and I was with his crew as we did the interior of the buildings that he had, to make sure that it got done in time, and that I was able to check the quality. And then I was training the guys. It was kind of on the job training. I gave them a quick lesson, and then we just worked, and I'd stay with one person, and I'd watch him, and I'd have him watch me, and then I'd go to the
Yeah.
next one, and we just did that. It was just really awesome, man. It went so smooth. It went so smooth.
Yeah. I saw your video. Like his fan technique on the spot, like that was pretty good. Like I've
Yeah.
seen a whole lot worse, and
So
a week in.
that
So
was 1 hour of training. That was 1 hour using the Squeegee method to get to that point. And of course, he's
wow.
it's muscle memory. So this is he did it great once. To get really good, he's gonna have to keep doing it over and over again. But the technique is there, and that's the important thing. As long as you have the technique, then you can build on that.
Yeah.
It's when you kind of learn the wrong way at the beginning, and now you're having to overcome those wrong steps, that's when you kind of get bogged down with issues like that. So,
Yeah.
but
Well, one
hey, Mike,
module that I'm kind of working through, hopefully we can partner together. I haven't even said this to you, but with this new construction job, I've literally had a hard hat on with a camera and another angle and stuff.
there
So,
you go.
new construction is a big thing in this industry that is not done right. I see so many companies, or going back behind so many companies that have done it wrong. And so I'd
Yeah,
love to get that module up as soon as possible. So,
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Just real quick, so Adam Hogan says, "Nice shirt, Gabe." So I'm wearing swag since we came from the convention. So my hat also is the 90th anniversary Ettore hat. So yeah, I'm all swagged out. When I travel, I wear window cleaning swag that I get from conventions. So
yeah. So
that's my
I
company.
got very exclusive swag.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
look at that.
honestly, I put this on, I forgot that I was going to be on the podcast.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
just happened to be, but I also got to shout out Jamie,
There
as
you go.
well, since I got,
Got some Tucker gear. Yep.
yeah.
I do have a
So,
nice Tucker shirt too. I won it on one of their podcasts that they do. You can, if you comment during it, they'll put you in a drawing. And it's a
oh,
blue
nice.
shirt with orange lettering. I love it. It's like one of my favorite running shirts. So yeah,
Love it.
swag's pretty cool. Yeah, swag's pretty cool. Mike Nichols says, Gabe, can you come train me? Absolutely, as long as you take me fishing. You take me fishing, I'll teach you how to fan. Although I don't think Mike really needs any help with that. He's pretty good. He's pretty good with the squeegee. I think he's gonna do
He's
all
just
right.
asking you if you can be his friend and come and hang out with him.
Yeah, that's
So,
pretty much. I would absolutely love. I mean, I think a lot of people would pay really good money to hang out with Mike Nichols for a day, have him
yeah.
take you out on the lake, pulling some
And
fish,
he's
hear
asking
stories.
for training so that you could write it off as a business expense. So it's completely tax write off. So,
That's
so
right.
yes,
That's right.
Gabe,
Exactly.
you're going to do consulting.
Right. Scott Aaroncrantz says, optional add-on service at Squeegee, how to host a podcast. Boom, I want royalties on that. Very good. Yeah, we'll add that on there too, Scott. That'll be the bonus package that you can add on. All right, Jessica, take care. She says she's going to catch the rest later. You guys, you take care and hang in there. I know you, Jake. I got your shirt and hat in the mail. I literally mailed it yesterday, right before I flew in today. I said I got to get this out before I go on this trip. Otherwise, it's already gonna get to Jake late anyways. But we'll get that out. Yeah, we're gonna have a little um, uh, on the website. We'll have a shop that you can buy Squeegee stuff, and then as I get more stuff printed up, we'll be having giveaways of some Squeegee swag that we'll have during the podcast. So we'll get that going pretty soon. That's definitely on the board. So I appreciate that. But yeah, man, I just was really, I was pleasantly surprised with the response we got at the convention because
Yeah.
I had done it at the huge, and it was fine. It was, I wouldn't say it was a bad experience. I didn't really get any good solid leads on it. A lot of tire kickers, so to speak. We had some great conversations, but I wouldn't say that anyone who we spoke to was like, "Wow, this is a great program. I want to sign up right now." There wasn't like that. But here at the IWC at the Elevate convention, we had people who were so excited. Literally, someone buy the full modules. I was talking to him outside. I wasn't even at my booth, and I'm telling him about it. He's like, "That sounds awesome. How much is it?" I'm like, "For what?"
Right.
It's like for all of them. Sold it right there. I mean, it was just amazing the response. And like you said, we've got like 25 people to follow up on. So that was the response was way more than what I expected. So I was really happy with how the convention went for
Yeah,
sure.
and it was so validating so I was able to sell a package for me and a package for Jamie. It was so validating to this is my first event with Squeegee U. Nobody knows me. Nobody like nobody knows me at all. So the fact that they talked to me within a few minutes and was willing to say yes, sign me up, this is exactly what I need, was so validating for my last 15 years in the industry. So thank you to both of those people. Obviously I'm not going to shout them out, but yeah, so excited for both of them.
Yeah,
And honestly, I was supposed to call Jamie on Monday to see how his went because mine went well too. So I was just trying to figure that out. But
Yeah. We can say him because we're actually hopefully going to have them on, but Jamie is going to be able to be a consultant with Oliver Cohen. He's the one who he owns Pure Window Cleaning. I think I
Yep.
forget. It's in Texas somewhere. I don't remember exactly where. But if you, I don't, they had a American Window Cleaner article written about him. I
Oh
forget how
yeah.
old he is now, but he's like 14.
Yep.
He's young, and that dude
Yep.
is like a businessman, like at his heart, like, and he wants to do windows. He's wanted to do windows since he was a kid, and he's still a kid, but I mean for his younger kid. But his dad, and I won't say too much on this because I want to save it for when we actually have him on the podcast. So supportive. I mean, just super supportive. This is his third IWCA convention that he's gone to. He's taken his son to. And yeah, I mean, it's expensive, right? He's a teacher. He doesn't have a huge salary, and yet he does this for his kid because he knows that's where his passion is, and he wants to help to encourage that. Just awesome story.
Yeah,
So
and as a
yeah.
dad, to see Oliver's dad and the support that he's doing, I mad respect for him. And
Mhm.
honestly, a model of what I want to do with my kids.
Yeah.
And encourage them to follow their dreams. Obviously, not going to push window cleaning on my son, but if he wants to do it, I'm all in. Let's go.
Yeah.
So very, very proud of Oliver and his dad. So
Yeah. And look, I mean, I grew up, I don't even know what I am. I think I'm Gen X. I'm considered Gen X, but I grew up in the time where the parents just said, this is what you're going to do. Or if you
yep,
said, I want to do this, no, it's stupid. Don't do that.
yep,
Do something else. So, and I don't want to say that about my parents were very supportive, but they definitely told me what I was going to do. Right. They certainly didn't tell me I was going to be a window cleaner. I just kind of fell into that. But they were supportive in a lot of other areas. I don't want to make it seem like they were all negative, but to see the level, because there's positive things that our young people do, and of course there's other things that you want to guide them away from, that you want to try and train them and help them to see and reason, hey, this is not a good path to go down, don't do this. But when it's something that's positive and you see that they're excited about it, to take the time and say, hey, I'm going to do all I can to help my son achieve these goals that he has, because I can see that they're good for him, that they're going to help him be the
yeah,
type of person that he wants to be. That's awesome. That's just so cool. But anyways, yeah, that's just really, it's one of those unexpected things that you run into with this business, is talking to people like that, and just kind of seeing the cool stories that come out of it. But I think that's what I want Squeegee to be. I want it to be a collection of cool stories. I
yeah,
want us, as we do these consulting things, I want to be able to say, hey, this was so and so. He came to us. He was struggling. He was this and that. We were able to help him, just by listening to him, giving him some guidance, help them bring out the positives that they have already in their life. They made these changes in their business, and now look at them. They're here. Whatever. That's what I wanted. I want it to be a catalog of just story after story after story after story of people who have been able to benefit from some of the knowledge and the experience that that the consultants have, and
yeah,
have helped them to kind of change some things to make their life a little better. That's what I want, and ultimately, and anything that we do, yeah, I love window cleaning. I love the techniques of it. I do love the technical part, but it's the people, right? You don't have the people. I mean, what is this industry? It's just another job. It's just another franchise. It's just another means to make some money. So I want to focus on the people. I want to focus on the stories that come out of it, because that's my passion. I love teaching. I love training, but if I can help somebody to just go on the next day from some words, man, that makes my day. It really does.
absolutely, Gabe. And I'm backing you up with all of this. It's the reason that I jumped on board because Um, I've been wanting to do something like this for a long time, but I could have done it on my own. But I really love the passion that you have and exactly the right heart for it, for the people. So I'm excited to continue to do what we're doing, and to grow this and to see those stories. Like you said, the stories are the most important part,
Yeah.
and to help somebody get past a simple frustration and make their day will make, honestly, it's going to impact us more than them probably, just because we're able to support them in a way that we wish that we could have been supported when we were going through something similar. So
100%, 100%. I think for myself, and I've kind of always been this way. I mean, obviously, I enjoy people, doing the attaboys and hey, you're doing a good job, and everybody enjoys that. But I've been always somebody who can set a goal and just go for it, and just do it, and just I've always been like that, even as a kid. If there was something I liked, I didn't need permission to do it. I didn't need any type of validation in order to do it. I just wanted to do it. Sometimes it was just literally to find out what it would be like, and I would do something, and that's why I kind of was always drawn to engineering or that type of math and science, because it was like finding answers to things. And even the window cleaning is so different from those things. I feel that that's a good role for me, is to help people to get past those imaginary roadblocks that we set up for ourselves. The whole, or the voice in the back of our head saying, oh no, I can't do that, or that's not going to work. Well, how do you know it's not going to work? You won't know it's not going to work till you try it. And I've been very fortunate to have not have that block me as much as maybe some other people. So I'm not afraid to ask those questions, and hopefully I can help some people get to that point where they stop blocking themselves. They stop putting those roadblocks to their own growth or success, or just even doing something new, trying something with their business that they hadn't thought was possible, and finding that excitement again in whatever that they do. That's what I'm looking for. Squeegee I'm excited about it because it's that new thing now. Now I'm anxious to see. I could visualize it from the beginning how it would work, but now to see it actually happening, that's awesome. I love it.
yeah,
I love it. And to see how many people doing this, it's awesome.
Yeah, and I'm working real hard to continue to work on my program, like specific stuff. There's 6 things that are on my heart that will help with scaling, specifically with those type of companies that are looking to scale but don't know how. So really excited to kind of continue to work on those and live it out every day here in Orlando for the next couple of years. So I'm excited to launch my YouTube and Instagram channels. As I'm creating content right now, it's just not ready to launch. I want to be able to do it right. Yes, I'm scared to put my face on social media because, like, obviously there's those trolls that are there, but I know that my heart is to help people, and I just need to get past my insecurity of putting my face on social media and just get it done. But I'm really excited to. I can't wait to show you, Gabe. Honestly, if you like it, that's all the validation I need. So,
yeah. No, and I'm excited for you too, AJ. I mean, you got some really great ideas, and I love that you already found a company to help, and they're already seeing results from that. And you're going to be a real asset for Squeegee. But just speaking of taking the leaps, the changes that you've made and kind of the bets that you've made on yourself is awesome to see. I'm really excited to see everything pay off soon. And I mean, it's already paying off, and not that it's not paying off already, but I know you're still wanting to kind of get things finalized and everything. So I'm excited to have you on our team for sure.
Yeah, man.
All right, guys. Well, we're just about done here. I just want to end it on all the support that we've had. You mentioned how there's a lot of trolls out there, AJ, and that's absolutely true. You put yourself out there. You're open yourself. You put a target on your chest. But for Squeegee, I mean, just some, like Adam Hogan, Jessica Battle. She's been really, really awesome for us, and Mike Nichols, Jake Van Orden. Of course, he's on the. He became a consultant too. I'm gonna do a plug real quick for Jake. I don't know if he's still on or not, but Jake is just one of those guys. Been in the business, in the industry for years, right? Super knowledgeable, super experienced, really smart as far as, like, he has good discernment of understanding things. But he could easily have been somebody who would look at something like Squeegee and say, you don't need that, we don't need that. And I think it was in the Into the Flow group. Someone had asked a question, and he went through and answered this question in just such a detailed and thoughtful way. And immediately I was like, oh, I got to get that guy on my team. I have to get him on my team, because that's exactly what I want Squeegee to be. He just literally, in one comment, embodied the helpfulness that I want Squeegee to be. So I approached him, and I wasn't sure what to expect. And he was on board, man. He was just like, yeah, that sounds exactly like what I would love to do that, especially as they get slow in the winter, and he's got his taxes and stuff. So I just want to give a shout out to him, because he's really good. But if March 15th is your last day this year, if you want to convert your business either from a sole proprietorship or just an LLC to an S corp, or an LLC filing as an S corp, you got to do it by the 15th. So that gives you, what is that? 12 days.
12 days. Yep.
So if you want to save a bunch of money in taxes and help your business with the payroll and all that stuff, make an appointment with Jake and get that taken care of ASAP. You're literally throwing thousands of dollars down the tank if you're not in the right entity. So talk to Jake. He's a good guy. He'll get you straight on that.
Yeah. So, 3% savings at a business of what we're doing is a lot. It goes a long way. So yes, Jake, phenomenal guy for that.
Yeah. So thank you guys all for your support. Just real quick, Scott Ehrenkrantz, our IWCA president, he says, I still use Gabe's tips and tricks idea of taking picture of the kitchen window before you clean the window in my own house. I always do it so I don't get yelled at by my wife, even though I gave her clean windows at home. So anyway, I'm glad to have given you that tip, Scott. And I'm looking forward to this year with you as our president. So thank you so much. But thank everybody who's participated today. And again, I don't say that lightly. The support that we've got from you guys, just from the window cleaning public, social media wise and otherwise, you've really made it fun to do all this hard work that we've put forth to make Squeegee what it is. But thank you guys. I hope you guys have a good rest of this day. Thank you for joining me, AJ.
Yeah.
Hope your big project goes well tomorrow.
Thank you. Well, enjoy your evening and your week in Atlanta. Getting to hang out with Rolling Suds is amazing. So cannot wait to hear the stories that are going to come from this.
Yeah, man. I'm so excited for tomorrow. That is my total element. Give me a classroom. Let me teach. Let me talk to people. Have fun. It's going to be a blast. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, you take care. We will talk to you next week. I'll tell you who the guest is, and if it's going to be hopefully we'll be back at 4:00 next week. I should be home, and we should be back on our regular schedule. But thank you all for making the adjustment. Guys, take care. Peace out. Talk to you soon.